There we go. Okay. This is so exciting. First of all, thank you for taking time to be with us today. This is really a great conversation for you and I to have with the Refresh community about the upcoming retreat, which will be the 24th through the 26th of September here in Atlanta. Usually we meet at Callaway Gardens. This is our first time choosing a home that will be very close for people to get to, where we can be safe, we can be outdoors, and when we are indoors, we're still thinking about our safety. I'm Helen Mitchell, who is the founder of the Refresh Experience, and just so thankful for you to be here, just grateful for you to join us today so that you can share with our community exactly what you'll be doing at the retreat. So I want to introduce Rebecca to the Refresh community and to everyone else who's out there who might be interested in what we're going to be doing at the retreat. So Rebecca, what are you going to be doing? What are you coming to share with us?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be participating in something so special and so empowering for women. And I am a person who is just very passionate about the chakras, the body chakra system, and how that affects us on a physical, emotional, spiritual level. And so I developed this passion. I actually, to give you a little bit of background, the first year my husband and I were married, he suffered 2 strokes back to back. And he was only 33 at the time. And so it was really shocking to us because he was in such good health and the doctors couldn't tell us why or what happened. There was just no rhyme or reason to it. And that event was what prompted me to look into alternative methods. I call them alternative, but really I think it's just getting back to basics of what we're inherently programmed to do. And so I started looking into energy medicine, energy manipulation. And that's when I discovered how important and how vital the body chakra system is to our overall well-being.
That's awesome. And when one of our chakras is not in line and aligned with the others, that really does have a big effect. What did you find from that passion, especially with having a husband who would have such a tremendous health situation at such an early age? What did you find in terms of the alignment of the chakras? Because some people may say, what in the heck are they talking about? So talk a little bit about the chakras and how that impacts our health,
Sure.
our emotions, and our spirituality.
Of course. So it's what I tell people is it's a lot like chiropractic, but on a spiritual level. So in a way, when we talk about chiropractic, it's about spinal alignment, right? And how if anything's misaligned, it affects our body elsewhere. So everything goes back to the spine, right? Your nerves, all of that links back to the spine in a way. So when people are having problems with whether it's digestion or fertility or any kind of a hormonal imbalance, a lot of the time that can be fixed through, adjustment of the spine. So the chakras are essentially the same thing, but on a spiritual level. So we have them all throughout our body from the root, which is the base of it's chakra number 1 at the base, all the way up to the crown, which sits right up on top of our head. So there's 7 body chakras in the body chakra system. When one becomes misaligned, that's a spiritual affliction, right? And so then that spiritual affliction has an impact on us on a physical level. It affects us on an emotional level and on, of course, our psychological level. So what we do when we realign those is we're actually moving energy through the body into the body chakra that's misaligned. And all of those can happen through trauma. Misalignment can happen through and like a generational trauma, through trauma that we experience in this life. Different forms of trauma contribute to misalignment. And so when we talk about getting them back in alignment, we're talking about putting the energy back, putting the spiral back in that area, right? And so for instance, as an example, when we have misalignment in the sacral, we might experience lack of creativity. We might experience problems with fertility, because the hormone linked to that area, the adrenal gland, relates directly back to that chakra. So every chakra has a specific hormone that it is responsible for and linked to.
Wow.
So it's very deep. It's very deep. There's so much to it. And so my goal is just to help people, especially women, I think because we have so much, we carry so much trauma, is to help people realign that and get the energy flowing back into those areas for our own healing.
One of the things that I know in my just doing my spiritual psychology degree, and we talked a lot about the fact that oftentimes when people feel like they're not heard, or there's something going on where they're not really expressing through their voice, and they feel like their throat chakra, they're feeling this feeling of, oh, I feel like I have a sore throat, or I'm really not really talking, or I'm not feeling heard. And I know that one has always been the one that has always, for me, immediately when someone talks about the chakras, I always feel like women tend to not want to have their voice heard. They tend to really sort of dampen their voice and not really speak out and empower themselves to really have that voice. So for me, every one of our chakras is so important for us to be aware of. It's not something we talk about like we would talk about the common, like you said, the alternative. It's like bringing ourselves back to the physical us that we are, and being able to be sure that we're at least aware that when our voice is not being heard, when we're not speaking our truth, when we're not having conversations that are really authentic, that we may sense some sort of feeling in the particular area that we need to address. And there are lots of different things that we can do in order to get those things back in alignment. So I am like overjoyed, thrilled, so excited to have you be a part of our retreat. And the exciting thing is that you will be in the most perfect spot to do this. And it's our Love Lounge, which is where we have conversations about so many things. And I feel like this is a great conversation for women to have, because as you said, we are so busy doing the busyness of life that we're not always in tune with what's going on in our physical presence. So if you had to tell or say or give one tip about the chakras to the listening live today, what would you say? What would you tell those who are listening? What would be the one tip that you would share about the chakras with our audience?
Well, the biggest thing that I always go back to, especially with my students in my energy medicine classes, is self-healing. You are your own best teacher, right? So no matter how many courses you take, how many certifications you have, the biggest thing is to listen to your own intuition. That is the number one thing that I tell them. And so when we're doing this self-healing, it's going to often be more important than even going to another healer. I can have Reiki sessions with someone all day long, but they are going to be able to go. My goal for them is to be able to leave the table and go home and heal themselves. So do your own listening, right? Listen to your body, listen to the way that it's responding to you, and talk back to it accordingly too. I suffered from a lot of issues with my solar plexus, and I found that I was constantly in battle with myself. And it was because I wasn't feeding myself the appropriate healing. I wasn't giving myself my own support. And so just be supportive of your own healing. Take control of your own healing. Don't rely on somebody else, because your intuition is going to be the very best teacher for you.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Intuition. Follow it, listen to it, find out where it is. We call it sometimes that still small voice inside, that we all kind of get that nudging. This isn't right, but then we keep going. And that's almost like a disrespect to the fact that we have that inner knowing of what to do, what we can do. And so in the refresh experience, we're going to be resetting those things in our lives that we want to reset, whether it's our alignment with our physical body and our chakra system, whether or not it's resetting ourselves in finance or in love or in our professional life, or just with ourselves, just getting still and knowing that you are your best healer. So that's exciting. I'm really excited for it. So if you are interested in anything that we've said that Rebecca and I have shared today. This has been very powerful, even in and of itself, to know that we have the intuition, the ability, the power, the love for ourselves to be able to listen to ourselves and create healing where it augments what might need to be done medically, or it might augment what is done alternatively. The point is, you are your healer. You are your healer. You're responsible for yourself. And so thank you for reminding us about that, Rebecca. And so if you want to join me and join Rebecca at the Refresh Retreat, please do so. Check us out at the Refresh EXP. And I can't wait, Rebecca, to be in the same energy space with you and to share the same space with you. Love what you're doing. Love the store. Let's talk a little bit about where you can be found and what people can hear about more about what you're doing.
Sure. So I am currently the general manager and the healing arts educator at Heart, Soul, and Art in Marietta. We are right off Roswell Road in the East Marietta Shopping Center. And we're just open to, we love to have people come in. I love learning, how I can help people, especially other women. I do womb healing here. I do Reiki here. I do all kinds of things. And I also teach and certify new Reiki masters, which is probably where my passion is, because I think it's so important to just perpetuate the healing process. And I think that is really the ultimate goal. So I'm here Monday through Thursday, but pretty much all day. And yeah, so I would love to have visitors come in and talk about the retreat. I'd love to hear what they're excited about and what their passions are.
Great. So we can't wait to have you at the Refresh Experience, our fall retreat, September 24th through the 26th. Thank you again for being here with us today. I'm so excited to be in your presence and to have you share with our community. It's something that as women, especially women of color, really need to hear about how we can take our power back and how we have the ability, the intuition, and the power to really be our own healer. So thank you so much, Rebecca. Have a wonderful
Thank you,
day.
Helen. Thanks so much.
It's so awesome. I can't wait to see you soon. Thank you.
Very excited. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.